Since WrestleMania 40, we've seen every single WWE Championship belt change hands except for Cody Rhodes. And that's why today, I want to talk about who I think will dethrone every single current WWE Champion. And as always, if you like WWE and wrestling, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll constantly be posting WWE content. And to jump into today's video, the first title we're going to talk about is the World WWE Tag Team titles. It's currently being held by JD McDonough and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. And I know it's a long shot, but the people that I have taking these belts is actually Damian Priest and R-Truth. Of course, Damian's in a feud with the Judgment Day right now, so that part makes sense. So I was trying to find him a tag team partner that's somewhat in the realm of people we've seen him on screen with. And as I looked down this roster, there was no better option than R-Truth, so that's just who I went with. Now, if this guess is wrong, I honestly have no clue of what other tag team could take this, so I'm really hoping it's just a simple combination of Damian Priest plus one more person from the locker room. To move on from that, we're going to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship, which is currently being held by Gunther. And I think Gunther is going to hold this title for a while, so I'm thinking maybe next year or even the year after that at some point, I think we're going to see a babyface Jey Uso take the title from him. Now, you're going to be a little bit confused later on in the video because I do have Jey Uso taking another title, but I think Jey is going to take the World Heavyweight Championship long down the line. So maybe 2025, at the end of 2025 is when I think, maybe at the beginning of 2026. To move on from that, we're going to talk about the Women's World Championship. The title's currently being held by Liv Morgan, and this one's a gimme because it's obviously Rhea Ripley. Whether it's this month, next month after that, Rhea is coming back for this championship, and nobody can take this belt off of Liv until it's Rhea. And I am so ready to see the title back on Mommy because if we're being honest, WWE is just better when Rhea Ripley's champion. And like I said, I could see this feud going on for a bit. So maybe hold out until Bad Blood. That would be a good PLE for this to take place at. The next title we're going to talk about is the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, this title just got won by Braun Breaker. And I'm predicting John Cena to win this belt. When you look at the great career of John Cena, there's one thing missing, and that's the Intercontinental Championship. So if you think that they're going to let the GOAT retire without winning this thing, you're just out of your mind. Now, funny enough, I do have John Cena winning this championship, and then I do see Braun Breaker coming back and taking it from him. But nevertheless, John Cena is going to be the one to dethrone Braun Breaker. Next, we have the WWE Women's title. It's currently being held by Nia Jax. And I'm so unsure about this one because at some point Tiffany Stratton's getting her hands on this championship, but I'm just wondering if Nia loses first and then Tiffany cashes in on whoever wins it, or if Tiffany just straight up cashes in on Nia. So for this prediction, I'm going to say that Tiffany Stratton straight up cashes in on Nia Jax somewhere down the line. And I'm so excited to see Tiffany Stratton holding this briefcase because at the end of the day, she's going to make a great champion and she's going to have a great career. To move on from that, we're going to talk about the United States Champion, which is currently being held by LA Knight. And y'all are going to think I'm crazy for this one, but I actually have Chad Gable dethroning him. You know, I know he's busy with the Wyatt Six stuff, but I really think that they're going to reward him, you know? They saw the good heel work he was doing against Sami Zayn, and I don't think that they're going to let that go unnoticed. I think they're going to go ahead and put a title on him. And if they don't, I really don't know who else could be coming for LA. Obviously, he's going to have probably matches with Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, maybe a Sheamus type guy. But other than that, I don't see a real threat for this belt just because of how over LA is. But we saw Gable and we saw how, not over as a heel, but, you know, we saw how over as a heel Gable can get, and he would be a rightful opponent to take this belt from LA. After that, we're going to talk about the WWE Tag Team Championships, and that's currently being held by the Bloodline. It's actually listed as Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, but with him being injured, which we're not sure if it's kayfabe or not, but with him being injured, it might be Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, so we're not quite sure who's actually going to be defending this belt. And I think, like I said, I have this person on the list twice. I think Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso are going to take these belts from him because at the end of the day, I do see Roman reuniting with the Usos and Sami Zayn to kind of create a Bloodline 1 versus Bloodline 2.0 type of feud. So I think to kind of give Roman's team the edge, I think at some point we are going to see Bloodline 2.0 drop these titles to the original Bloodline. And if it's not Jimmy and Jay, maybe it's Jay and Sammy, maybe it's Jimmy and Sammy, maybe it's not the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, maybe it's somebody else. But just for right now, I think that the only people who can take these titles off the Bloodline is the Bloodline, if that makes any sense at all. Next, we have the Women's Tag Team Champions, and I'm really not sure for this, so I'm just going to give some people that I would like to see win the titles. And that's a variation of Damage Control. I would like to see Dakota Kai and Io Sky start teaming because I think they're two of the most talented women on the roster, and I think that right now Dakota Kai is being heavily underused. Like, we see her on television, but we don't get to see her in any major feuds, and I just think that's a shame because I think she's one hell of a wrestler, and I think that she should get the chance to shine with the belt on her. Other options I could see is, of course, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, but I really think that they're moving towards a feud between those two, and I just don't think it would make any sense to put the belts back on them. And lastly, we're going to talk about the WWE Universal title, and that's, of course, being held by Cody Rhodes. And the person I see defeating him for this is either The Rock or Roman Reigns. And reluctantly, I had to go with Roman just for the simple fact that at SummerSlam, we saw Roman eyeing that title, and we saw Cody hold up a 3 for Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 3. And I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger on this, whether it's at this year's WrestleMania, next year's WrestleMania, next year's SummerSlam. I think that they're going to put the belts back on Reigns. And this is just because how over he is. The fans are loving him as a babyface right now. And if he can keep it up, you can't keep the title off of him. And that's all the titles for today. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and kind of the new style that I'm trying with face-to-face videos. If not, I'm always open to suggestions about what you guys would think would make these videos better. So leave those down in the comments.